sweeping memoir about war and family, an evocative novel about faith and self-discovery set in Long Island, a Melville-inspired epic that deals with themes of race, community, and individuality, and another memoir about post-college life that will strike a chord with anyone who has a liberal arts degree. And I'm so pleased that all of you are out here tonight. We do have chairs available back here if you're standing in the back, and if you'd like to take a seat. So first to speak is Jess Martin, who's here with us tonight. Jessica Martin grew up on her family's farm in Brockport, New York. She graduated from Syracuse University with a degree in television, radio, and film. She has lived in San Francisco, New York, and Boston, and is an astonishingly funny blogger. I encourage each and every one of you to visit her blog at openeyed-sneeze.blogspot.com. Tonight she'll be speaking about her first book, called Open-Eyed Sneeze, and we hope it'll be the first book of many. Everyone, please join me in welcoming Jess Martin.
A little louder.
I'll turn it up.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I haven't said anything yet. That's probably why. Thank you so much, everyone. I am completely impressed and honestly intimidated by the crowd, but I'd like to thank Harvard Bookstore. This has been a very long process for me trying to get my book published. After graduating from Syracuse in 2003, I moved home with my parents to try to decide what I wanted to do with my life. Sorry, I'm nervous. And because I don't know if anyone has lived with their parents while being an adult, but it's quite difficult, so I took to journaling. And when I had a mind-numbing job in San Francisco working in room service, I was taking people's room service orders and basically just going through my journals while at work, and I thought, well, maybe I can try to make this into something. So I wrote a book, and I think just because I entered into the publishing process with so much, well, I was just so naive about the whole process. I just basically got a guidebook to literary agents, started going through them, sent out queries, and then years and years into that process, I thought, oh, this is actually really hard. And I finally landed an agent 2 years ago, and then the whole process of rejection started over again with the publishing industry, and they were like, you know, we appreciate the work, we just don't know who you are. And I was like, well, that's a common theme in my life. Even when I call my own parents, my father picks up the phone and says, who is this? So I wouldn't expect you to know who I am. I haven't published anything yet. So through the recommendation of my roommate, I live in Harvard Square. He said, why don't you check out the Harvard Bookstore? They have a press. And I did exactly that. And the whole process was very, very quick with the help of Brad and the bookstore. Everyone here has been fantastic. Just started printing them out, and now I've been doing like little events, going off to far-off locations such as New York City and Boston, and my hometown in upstate New York, and now Cambridge. So, but it's been a sort of grassroots process, and it's been really humbling and exciting and nerve-wracking, clearly. So. If you're not familiar, the book is basically just about life after college, that process of trying to figure out what you want to do, and a lot about my family. I consider my parents the strangest, most fantastic roommates I ever had. So a lot of stories about family in it. And the title, it just, I don't know if anyone has heard about the process of an open-eyed sneeze, but basically people say it's impossible. So it's basically just trying not to force the unnatural, letting things happen as they will, and, you know, taking lessons from it. Okay. Also, I will just say the process of publishing through the bookstore has been amazing, and I think all the other writers tonight can speak to this, or maybe not if you've published many books, but when I first had a copy of my book in hand, I was so excited. And then I proceeded to carry all of my books home to my apartment down the street, and I thought, I wonder if Tina Fey had to carry all of her books home. Probably not. So that's something I will never forget, and I think I have a pensioner because of it. But. Okay, so this is from the first chapter entitled A Pit of Balls and Rented Cap and Gown. Basically, I consider my worldview shaped by the balls at Chuck E. Cheese. Just finding myself in absurd situations and trying to discover value therein. And anyway, okay, so from this chapter, it's my college graduation. I think I have a rare pituitary disorder that causes me to sweat in social situations, or celebrations, or venues where cake is served or cards are exchanged. Basically, any event with the expectation of memory formation causes me to perspire. My sweat glands are probably just trying to make up for the rest of my body's disinterest. I appreciate what certain events stand for, but I just get so overwhelmed by the proceedings leading up to the event that I can't remember feeling a single emotion. I can remember sweating profusely, but they don't make greeting cards about sweat. I've learned that if a greeting card can be bought for it, the moment will probably be lost on me. I don't like to think that times can be defined by rhyming stanzas or that clever cartoons can somehow enhance the memory, and that most people use them in lieu of actually saying anything. It almost completely negates all meaning. You've had a child. This bird wearing pants has something to say about that. I hope this displays how happy I am for you and how important you are to me. My mother loves cards. My older sister Sabrina loves cards. Every year since I can remember, Sabrina has given my mother a card that has made her cry. Birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, they're all occasions to seal tears in a colored envelope. When my mother reads the card and inevitably cries, Sabrina inhales deeply and sort of puffs up with a gentle pride, as if to say, beat that. I always look at her flatly with absolutely no pride, inhaled or otherwise, and just flatly say, I can't. I didn't even buy the card for Mom. My birthday present is to not make her cry. Today is my college graduation. The card aisle of the grocery store tells me that this is an event. That in itself is enough to turn me off to the whole thing. Perhaps this void of emotion on days of importance stems from my early experiences surrounding events. When we were kids and my parents went on a date together, it was always a big deal. My father's job on his farm rarely allowed for such a treat. And as a result, our house was turned into backstage at Radio City in the hours leading up to their dinner and a movie. Buying new outfits, cutting off the tags, the roar of blow dryers, the steam from the bathroom. If you listen carefully during these times, you hear my mother's battle cry. She lives for this. I, in a word, don't. Sabrina used to help my mom accessorize and line up her makeup while Vanessa, my younger sister, would put one of my mother's bras on over her pajamas and walk around yelling, "Fashion show!" I would always be in the living room, watching TV, waiting to be breath tester. This is completely true. Once they were ready to leave, my mother would bend down and say, "Smell my breath." Breathing twice on my face. Middle children have forever been breath testers. But that combined smell of scope and lipstick told me that we would soon be eating babysitter food of chicken nuggets and crinkle cut fries. As a result, all this preparation for special occasions ever created in me was a craving for frozen foods and an aversion to being breathed on. Anyway, so... part of the reason I decided to self-publish was because my work with the agent was just taking too long. I wanted it to come out sort of around graduation, and I published it in May, and the response has been really, really great. So I just want to thank the bookstore again for all of your support, and thank all of you for coming. If you could check out my blog, like Heather suggested, I really appreciate it. And then also, yeah, all of the writers, there's been like some really great works that I've read through the store, and I just want to thank everybody again. Okay.